ladies from Walter and Mr. King. That's Watler, excuse me.
That's all right.
I have trouble with
You're one of many that have done that.
And that would be Janet's.
It's a good old family name.
Gosh, you want to head in this garden? I can't think of your name. Gosh.
It's a lady.
Okay.
This meeting is, has to do with treasury and accounting proposal by Watler County. And, what's the status on the current treasurer? And we'll vote on whether we would like for these people to take care of our accounting, or treasurer and all that when we get through discussing.
Jump in this, Lorraine.
You want to talk to him about what you discussed and what we proposed, and that way, then you guys can ask questions, and we'll be glad to answer them. Well, I brought a copy of the email that I had sent to Linda. I think it pretty well explains. So if you don't mind, I'll just read that out loud, and that can start our discussion on. The Village of Bellmont would like to hire an outside firm to do the bookkeeping work that would entail what the former treasurer was doing. This would initially include picking up the mail at the Bellmont post office, recording and depositing checks from water customers, preparing checks for incoming bills, and preparing a monthly treasurer's report. The prepared checks and treasurer's report would be ready for pickup monthly, so that a board member could take it to the board meeting by the second Tuesday of each month. It is understood that currently you have employees that read the water meters and record information. Then this information needs to be calculated for the water bills, which are currently printed elsewhere. The job of the calculating and preparing water bills used to be that of the village clerk, but has since been done by the treasurer. The outgoing treasurer estimated that she spent about 30 hours a month on all of these tasks. The above tasks are quite time-consuming on paper, and we would like to propose that Watler Accounting could set up a QuickBooks account that would handle all of your needs on the computer. This would begin with inputting current accounts and balances, then handling accounts payable and printing checks. Once these are set up, the monthly treasurer's report could be designed so that it would be calculated and printed quite easily. Eventually, all of your customer accounts can be added, as well as the water rates, so that eventually monthly water bills could just require inputting the water usage and then printing the invoices created from the computer, so that printing would no longer require outsourcing. This would allow incoming checks from customers to be immediately matched up with the invoices on the computer, thus increasing the streamlining capability. Finally, resulting annual reports could be printed with ease and accuracy for the village's auditor. The process of setting up a brand new QuickBooks account, including all current account balances, vendor list, and customer list, is time-consuming, but well worth the effort. Watler Accounting normally charges $75 an hour for bookkeeping services, but we would like to offer our discounted price of $45 an hour for this initial QuickBooks setup. Once all accounts are up and running on the computer, we estimate that this will streamline the work of our bookkeeper down to about 2.25 to 2.75 hours per week at a discounted charge of $45 an hour to do the deposits, checks, and treasurer's report. This calculates out to $400 to $500 per month, or $4,800 to $6,000 per year. Once the monthly bookkeeping gets settled down into a routine, if it is determined that the time spent is more or less than estimated, then negotiations can later be discussed. It was also mentioned that we offer QuickBooks on Watler Online, which is our secure internet server. If the village decides to hire a treasurer in the future that would be able to use our QuickBooks via the internet, and if the village would hire Watler Accounting to do their auditing, the sharing of information on QuickBooks via Watler Online would be easy and quite secure. That is the gist of what Linda and I talked about on the phone. So I wrote it out in an email, and then you can discuss.
The hardest thing is the setting up, and it's just a time-consuming thing, and good cooperation makes it go quicker, and, you know, once we get that done, then it gets easier and easier as time goes on, because you have everything in one system. And you can move that system wherever you want, so if you decide one day you get up and you don't like Lorraine and I, you can take your backup and put it somewhere else and go right on to QuickBooks. It's yours to keep, it's not ours, so.
So the two of you would be working on the village stuff then?
Yeah, I'm the CP, I'm one of the CPAs, I'm one of the partners of the firm. And Lorraine's department would take care of all this. And I would supervise and do the review, whatever she needs me to do, which is what I normally do.
Okay.
I stay out of most of it because my rate's a lot higher, so, you know, if you don't need me, it's a good day, because I'm more expensive.
And another question.
Okay.
You would need the treasurer that we have now to help you guys get all this set up and stuff properly. Okay. Time consuming wise, how long are you looking at?
Well, it depends on how she gives it to us, the kind of shape that it's in, and how she helps us. You know, if we have to dig it all out, then we're gonna tell you this is really taking time. I like to tell you as I go, gee, we ran into this snag and we want you to know it's a snag. Do you wanna help us out with that, or do you wanna roll with the hours? Because this is expensive and I don't wanna waste time that when one of you guys volunteered to do something. So the more the treasurer would help us, the quicker this will go.
Okay.
I feel certain that she would help.
Yes, I just
Yeah.
needed
I mean,
to
I
know
feel
about a
certain
time,
that she would help.
a time limit wise,
Yeah.
is what I was curious about.
Yeah.
The water bills would be paid and delivered here.
Mhm.
We could just like we're doing.
Yep, just like you're doing. Yep. Yep, we just pick it up and we do the posting and the depositing, so you don't have to worry with it. But everything would stay just like it is.
Are you guys bonded and insured?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and I'm also licensed in 2 states, and I can't tell anybody anything, and I can't tell anybody anything in court in Illinois, but I can in Indiana, because Indiana doesn't have any bounds.
How many people work at your firm?
Well, we have about 30 people. We have 5 offices. Our office down here in Evansville are what I run. We have 2 partners. My partner is my cousin. He's like my brother. But my grandfather started this firm in 1917, and he was in Indianapolis. And then when they had the big downturn in business, and he could see that everything, the stock market was going to crash, he decided that he might not be able to make it on the circle up there as a CPA. So what he did, he took a job with the railroad. And when the Depression was over, he took a job with Floor Wax Company in Brazil, Indiana, and that's how our office in Brazil got there. But he kept all of his clients, because during the Depression he bartered with all of them to keep them. And we're a big company in a way, but we're small, because we work in our hometowns and where we're all from. My sister-in-law in Terre Haute, she's a CPA, and she runs our Terre Haute office, and she knows everybody in Terre Haute because she grew up there. And my cousin Steve, he's my partner, and he runs Bloomington in Brazil because that's where his area is from. And I've been down here for 30, 40 years almost. And I guess it's 40 now. And so, you know, we all work in our own area, and we have our own staff. Now, we have about 10 people here in this location, between here and Evansville.
Now, you don't need this, but I'm gonna do this anyway. I don't know how many of you use them folks. I do. And one time, several years ago, I had a problem and I was hacked and things went south. And I whined to Janet, and she said, "Oh, just come up. Just come up." And she dropped everything she was doing and helped me. And she was up to here in paperwork. And I'll take it to my grave.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. I
Well,
mean,
thank you. I appreciate
and
that.
they're a top shelf operation. I mean, they'll do whatever it takes to make dough.
Well, I'll tell tell you what, when I got out of school, I went to work for a big firm, because my dad thought I needed experience in a big firm to really learn all the tricky little things with work papers and things you need to know, and it was a great experience. But I came home one day, and he was out calling on clients, and he was supposed to go over to the savings and loan there in town and see somebody, and so I went with him. And when he got in, there was a lady in there, and she was crying, and her husband had died. And he went down and sat by her, and he said, now don't you worry about all this. He said, we'll get that straightened out on Monday. He said, you go and get your husband buried, and he said, you let me have that worry. And he said, when we get done, he said, all this will be right, and you won't ever have to worry about it. And when we got in the car, he said to me, you know, he said, I just can't compete with that great big firm up there. You know, they're just too big and they're too fancy. And I said, oh, Dad, I said, you don't realize nobody where I'm at would ever think to do what you just did. And that's kind of the way we feel. I mean, our family, that's the way we've always been. And we feel like our clients, we know them, you know, like family. And so, and that's not just that. I'm so proud of my dad. He was a wonderful guy, and that was what he was known for, you know, was he'd help somebody when they needed help. And I decided I like that better than I like being in a great big firm and playing politics up to the top.
Well, I appreciate everything you've done for me and my family.
Well,
And
thank you.
you don't, I like the personal touch. I like to be able to go up there and say, Janet, what's the deal with this? And then you explain it right down to the letter, you know.
Well, if I make a mistake, I'll tell you I made a mistake. And if something's not working, I'm gonna tell you, and just like these hours, if there's too many hours and
That's
we
what I
know,
was just getting ready to ask
Yeah.
is.
yeah, we're not gonna just sock it to you. That's not what we're here for. We're
That's
here to
right.
help you make this smooth, so that you have an economical way to get along.
So you said 2.25 hours a day, 2 hours a day
Well, that's for a week,
for a week?
after we get it set up. The thing that's the unknown is the setting up. The setting up is gonna take time, and the more the treasurer can help us, you know, if we can get her to work with us and help get those
Yes,
names and
I've talked
addresses.
to her and
yeah.
she is more than welcome.
And
to
that's
help you.
great, because if she can do that, that'll cut down how long it takes us to set those up.
She jumps through hoops here in this little meeting thing, and I'm sure she'll do whatever she has in her power to help you.
That's great, because Lorraine's a great teacher, and if she teaches her how to help us input those things, and she could do some of that to help cut down the time, that'd be great. Well,
Because her motivation is too, that she wants to help you get off and running. I mean, so she can,
so she can be done, yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
I agree that we really don't know how many hours it'll take. I work, I do similar type of bookkeeping work for another company weekly, and I spend about 2 hours a week on that other company doing similar work.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I got that estimate, assuming that if this is similar to the other company, maybe 2 hours a week. But I haven't actually sat down with Christina, I think that's her name,
Yes.
to really determine exactly what it is that she does weekly. If we find out that inputting the deposits from all your water bills and calculating all that takes a little more, then we will certainly let you know. But if we get it all, once, like you said, it takes longer to get everything set up, but once it is set up, if we look like it's getting streamlined to where it takes a lot less during the week, then we'll certainly let you know that too.
Okay.
Audits. Are you involved with the audits, or?
No, I mean,
Do we have an audit? I mean, we have an audit.
yeah,
We
you have an audit, and right now, your audit, you just need us to do the internal work so that
Right.
the audit
Yeah.
can be done.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
And I'm not involved with the audit team.
yeah.
I'm a
But I mean,
completely
there won't be any
different
problem for somebody to come in and do the audit.
No,
You'll
because
have,
it'll
you'll
make
have the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because now the auditor, what they like to have is they like to have an Excel copy
Yeah.
of the trial balance and the general ledger and the general journal, which is all the adjustments, and they like to have the backup of the accounts receivable for the water. And we can digitally send that to them and they'll have it. And
Yeah.
they'll have the financial statements for each month of the year, so that, you know, they like to have the interim statements throughout the year. And those will all just be a matter of hitting a button and send them to them.
That's good.
And then you won't, because
Won't have to
right
make
now,
that drive.
yeah, cause now they're reconstructing a lot of that and they don't
Yeah.
have to do that anymore.
Good.
And so you said that you guys would be able to share the program if we did hire a treasurer in
Mhm.
the future.
We have what they call QuickBooks Online. Now, there is an online version that's out on the internet,
Right.
but we don't like that too much because there's a lot of things about it that don't work as well as the regular QuickBooks does. We like QuickBooks Pro, and we have it installed on our server. And then what we do is we assign you a slot, which is your slot entirely, and we fix it so it's on your machine, so all you have to do is log in, and you're on our machine. And if you got a new treasurer and she's sitting there going, oh my gosh, where do I post this water bill? She just has to get on there with Lorraine or one of her staff and said, I'm stuck, and we can get right on there with her.
Yeah.
And we can see where it's not posted right so that she can put it where it needs to be. And that's a big help because sometimes it's just a matter of you need a journal entry or you need some little thing done and you're really kind of on your own again, but we can go in there and do that journal entry so she can go right on.
I think, unless I'm wrong, and they can tell me if I'm wrong, what drives the wheel here is money. It's a small village, we're not flourished with money,
Right.
you know that.
Yeah, if I had my way, of course I don't, I have no influence, but I think it's terrible that everybody, all these villages are required to have a certified audit, because I think it's such a waste of the small amount of money you all have, and I don't think there's anything to get around it, because everything's being pushed from Chicago, not
Yep.
from down here. But, you know, if you keep good books and everything's there, you know, it shouldn't have to be that way.
No.
And I hate it. I do a lot of village auditing, and I don't like it, and I like for anything you're willing to do on your own that we don't have to do and charge you for, I think it's great, cause I know that it's hard enough to get everybody just to help with the village, let alone have the strain of no money. So,
Very good.
Martha, any questions? No?
I have a question. You said if we do get a treasurer down the line that would be able to take on the responsibilities, that you would like us to go ahead and consider you as our auditor? Is that a requirement that you're asking of
not
us?
at
or
all,
just-
that's not a requirement at all. You put your audit out for bid, and whoever gives you the best
Okay.
price, that's what you do.
So if we end up getting
If
a
you
treasurer.
ended up with us, with the treasurer and somebody, and you got on, and you were on our QuickBooks Online, you're not required to do a thing with us,
Okay,
except,
because she had mentioned on the
Yeah.
stipulation of that, and I wanted to make sure
no,
that wasn't.
she didn't mean it as a stipulation.
all right.
We can't do that, and we won't do that.
Okay,
So, you ought to put your audit up for bid, and whoever gives you the best price, the best product, take it.
okay.
Cheaper the better.
Lorraine, I don't think I heard you mention anything about the annual subscription.
You talking about Watler Online?
Uh-huh.
Watler Online is the internet, secure server that we offer. If the village wanted to use Watler Online, where if in the future, if you wanted to hire your own treasurer that would take this back and work on Watler Online to access QuickBooks, then we would be able to access QuickBooks at the same time through Watler Online, which is our secure server. The advantage of that for our tax customers, someone who uses us as their accountant, is that your treasurer could access QuickBooks and, like you were just talking about, do their bookkeeping. And if we was the accountant doing the auditing or the tax work, then we could also access that bookkeeping on our end. So the price of Watler Online is just a standard one-time a year fee of I think it went up to $270 a year.
And it can be billed monthly, or it can be billed all for the year, and that's just to support the slot that you have and keep it secure and give you access to QuickBooks.
Yes.
That's all that's for. And if you have payroll, it supports your payroll tables and all the things that, yeah. It supports all that, and if you buy QuickBooks on your own, it's more expensive, but because we're a QuickBooks specialist, we buy, I think we're buying something like 400 slots a year now, and we just take those slots and then we divvy them up to the clients that wanna use it. And, but QuickBooks Online is just, you aren't gonna need that until you actually get to a point where you don't need us. When you get to a point where you're on your own, you have a treasurer that can do this, then instead of this big number of what you're spending a year, you can spend $270 and you can have access, and you can only call Lorraine when you really need something. You know, she'll just charge you when she has to do something.
Well, Christina and Linda back there, they're both them girls are very proficient in computer things. When you say something, they'll understand what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's good.
And they, both of them have jumped through hoops for this.
Well, and you got a good teacher in Lorraine. She is very methodical, and when she sits down with somebody to teach them, she makes notes, or she has, you know, everybody
Like she's
learns a
doing
different
now.
way. Yeah. Everybody learns a different way. Some people learn by hearing, some people learn by doing, and others by observation. So she figures out somebody's going to take notes, and when we get done, we'll make a set of instructions, because we do that with everybody, and that way, when your treasurer gets home and they feel overwhelmed and they say, oh, gee, how did she tell me to post that deposit? She can go in there and look at the instructions for a deposit for this particular village, and she'll know what she's supposed to do. And that's a great thing to have, is have some instructions that you can pass down from one to the other.
When does this start? If you do it, when does it start?
Well, I guess that's up to you.
No, I mean, does it start, we're at the end of the month here, so
A good time
you'll
when-
do Marches,
Yeah, it would be a good time to start at the beginning of a month.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it would be.
And then we would owe you for, at the end of March, for March, or pay you in advance at the beginning of March.
You'd pay us, remember that March we would be doing the setup, and so we're gonna be doing that with you guys' help to see how many hours, and so we just bill you the hours when we get to the
At
end of the month.
yeah.
So that would be in April.
Yeah,
And that would fit better with our annual clock also.
yeah.
Timing's pretty good.
Okay.
The time to start's kinda up to you when the best time is. The beginning of the month is a great time to do it, so that we can,
Well, that's why, we're
you
there.
can have a cutoff, and, yeah. Yeah, we're almost there. It doesn't take long for this month to go by.
No. Okay.
And that again is dependent on how much Christina is able to work with us. Not knowing how long it's gonna take to figure out where she left off.
You know her?
I know the water bills, they don't come out until the end of the month, or they just came out, correct?
Yeah.
So,
Well, but we'll have a whole month of posting them and getting those people put in there. So at the end of the month,
all you have to do is put the figures in and she could,
yeah,
You say you don't know her?
Christina, I don't believe, what's her last name?
James?
I don't believe so.
I'll
but
guarantee you, I'll bet the farm in Texas that she'll help you do
I am bad at names,
anything,
so
anything.
I mean, if I had met her before, I just bad at names.
She has helped the trustees on this board, I mean, do whatever it takes.
And the more she will do and help us, the cheaper it'll be, so.
My money's on her and you.
I don't think I have any
At the-
questions.
Pretty much that's all mine.
Answer all your questions?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Has anybody from the public got a comment on this?
I do. Dave King. Is everybody on the town board going to get a copy of this contract?
Sure.
And I want to know, whose phone is this up here on the table?
That's
This,
mine, it's recording.
You're recording. That is got to be held for 1 year. Where's
It'll
our
go
regular
to
tape
Christina.
recorder at?
she said she forgot it.
And another thing. these board meetings you've been having, I wanna know why we had a man driving a city truck.
That's not on the agenda.
Public comment.
Hey,
First Amendment, public comment. Don't matter.
Gary, you don't have to.
whether it's on the agenda or not, I'm a public speaking. I wanna know why he was driving a truck when he wasn't even supposed to be in it.
If you'd like, Mayor, we could probably go ahead and dismiss.
We ought to take care of this business here.
Yeah.
It don't make any difference, he cannot be in that truck.
First Amendment.
Once you go ahead and dismiss them, Mayor.
He can't drive that truck, he can't be on a ladder, he can't be on nothing.
Visitors, if you like.
He was driving it all over town, I don't care what it is.
Let's go ahead and get a vote on this,
We got 5 minutes left for him to speak.
Gary, we're just missing
We're
the,
dismissing
the
that.
lady.
I'm getting interrupted here. And on top of that, you board members here, there's a man come in the other day asking for help. You was hollering, Bowes Acres, Bowes Acres, Bowes Acres. And you just got done saying when the meeting started, I'm over streets, I'm over this, I'm that, anybody got any problems, come to me.
I said that?
Yeah. All right, he come in asking, what'd you just do? Go to Bowes Acres. No, you just couldn't say, well, we'll put it on the agenda, we'll look into it, and then we can see what we can do with it and get back to you. You just don't even know how to run one. Then on top of that, we had a person speaking back here, Amber. What's this lady do up here? What'd you call it? Huh? I got the floor, basically. Point of order, point of order, point of order. Interrupted her, speaking. You don't even know what a point of order is. You better learn your rules. You don't even know what your rules are.
This is ever
And
You know, you just can't run your meetings right. These ladies here are here, and here I am telling you how you run your meetings.
At a special meeting, only what's on the agenda.
Where's my clock at? I can't even see if I'm 5 minutes. I got interrupted so much. Oh, it's pitiful around here the way you guys run the town board meeting.
Dave.
And I'd like to know if these ladies are going to hand out a contract to everybody, not
She
just
just
one
said she
person.
would. She just said she would.
Okay, I'm
She
appreciate
just said
that.
she would.
Thank you.
Special meeting.
And can anybody talk to them on the board meeting? The board members, can anybody talk to you?
No.
Not just one,
Ladies
all of
don't
them.
have to answer yet.
In other words, one's got a problem, the other one's got a problem, they can both should be able to talk to you, call you. They need your phone number. You know, it's pitiful the way you guys run this town. You let people drive trucks, the lights were on last night, how come they wasn't shut off? I guess everybody's got extra money in town. Who's going to pay for that in town? You going to pay for the lights? Yep, see? Yeah, we got plenty of money though, ain't we, Mayor?
His time is up.
Thank you for your information.
Okay, where's my 5 minutes at?
It's gone.
Where? Where'd the clock go off? I didn't see it.
There.
I couldn't see it.
Clock.
I
Linda
did.
Oh, you ain't got a clock out here to where I can see it, though. I don't think my 5 minutes is up.
Hey, Bings, you're on this. Whose couch and chair is that out here in the road?
Here, we're talking about just what's
You
on
know,
the agenda.
then you turn around and want to shut me down.
Leon, I'm sorry. Special meetings is what's on the agenda only.
Well, he ain't on that one.
I'm sorry.
First
Agenda
Amendment
only.
though. Constitution.
You don't even know how to run the rules or run a board meeting.
Now,
I just soon see you all resign,
he is done, so
especially the mayor.
you can go ahead and dismiss your guest now. He's
We
done.
gonna take a vote on this?
I'd like to, yeah.
Let's dismiss our guest people. That would be wise,
Say it again.
to dismiss our guest.
If you would like to leave.
Thank you for your invitation.
And thank you for your information.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
I do have one more document.
Okay.
The enclosed is an engagement letter listing the prices that we have offered to you. Should you decide to vote on this, you may sign one copy for you to keep and one copy for you to mail back to us in this enclosed envelope. It just lists the prices that I've already mentioned. If you decide to go with it, there is a copy for you and a copy for us.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
If any of you have any questions, just let us know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
And I
I'll see you
believe our
Thursday.
Yep, I will see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
phone
ladies.
numbers and addresses
Nice to
are on
meet
here.
you all.
You can reach us at the Mount Carmel office,
Thank you,
which
Miss Ray.
is this one up here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lorraine, I did not receive that email. I haven't had any email because of my phone situation, so.
Oh, cause your phone is
Yeah.
wonky.
If you would try, I'll call you
Send it
tomorrow.
again.
I'll
I'll call you tomorrow. and
I
see
made
what I can do.
photocopies, there's a hard copy.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
you're welcome.
I'm sorry, ladies, if I got loud, but they don't understand anything around here.
You have a good evening.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you,
Thank you
ladies.
very
Have a
much.
good evening.
You too.
Have a good evening.
Hey, Mayor, why'd you pull up in front of my yard the other day? Huh? What was you gonna tell me? You blocked me in the driveway up here, got out.
Can someone get their ordinance out and read? At a special meeting, we only discuss what's on the agenda.
Nuh-uh.
Public comment is first.
Public comment.
Lawyer
Well,
sat
let's-
here.
let's-
It says public.
Let's look at it, our
So your
ordinances.
5 minutes are up.
So,
Did you ask this man back here for his 5?
oh yeah, sir, you did come in. Can you give me?
Oh, wow.
Mr. Lloyd?
Brad, is it Brad? Okay. Get back on my minutes here.
What about, Mayor? What'd you block me in for? I've been calling in for a sticker too. Ain't seen it.
Mr. Lloyd, did you have anything you want to share with us this evening?
I wanna know, I'm not going to no bow takers. I don't
Okay,
deal with
what's on the
them.
agenda this evening is we're looking at a treasury, trying to find a new treasury. Do you have anything that you want to add on that?
First Amendment, you can talk about whatever you need to.
Not really.
Okay. And, okay. I was thinking about the song, but that's not on tonight either, but I do remember that. Okay. Okay, back to the agenda.
Been leaving a message on the answer machine. I ain't heard nothing about my stickers yet. Nobody's called me back for my 4-wheeler.
I'll get with Bill tomorrow and find out if he's gotten the message, Dave.
Christina, I have an email since we're talking about the treasury. She hasn't been emailing me back none. Nobody? No one. So how am I supposed to make contact with her when I need something?
I'll ask that too, John.
Thank you. Why does another trustee have to ask when I'm an equal trustee?
Go to her. At any time.
I'm
you
not
can come
going
any
to
of
somebody's
us.
property so they can say I intimidated them.
Well, then don't intimidate them,
I don't.
okay? Then
That's
you
why I
won't-
carry a
you-
camera with me.
You will not be accused of that if you don't do it.
I'm not.
Mr. King wants a sticker.
Do you have the paper you said you gave me last time?
Have you brought me a list? We're not
No,
gonna
I'm not
discuss that
going
this
to your,
evening.
it's the treasurer that's on the agenda.
You
And I'm not
see,
going to your
it's at
house
every meeting.
when
Right
you
now, we're
say
gonna go ahead
if
and
somebody
discuss what's on
intimidates
the
you.
agenda.
That is on the agenda. I'm trying to ask where her resignation is because she gave me a false paper last time. Treasurer on the agenda.
We don't give out false
We need
papers.
to vote on this
Well, she gave me a false document that wasn't the original I asked for.
so we can get it done.
I'm still waiting on all that list too.
You can go to the mayor at any time and ask for anything you need.
I was told not to contact him by the sheriff.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sweep it under the rug
What
again.
are you asking to, you're asking if we wanna do a vote on the Wattlers? Do you guys wanna vote on it? Wanna
Yes.
Look at it a little more?
I wanna vote on it. We need to get that done. It's the end of the month, first of next month. Right here.
So how am I gonna get the paperwork? Who am I supposed to contact and how, without going to their property?
When we get it, I'll bring it to you.
Don't
It's
step
not
on my
gonna
property.
get on your property
That's
either.
why I need a key to my office, so you don't have to step
You're
here.
either serving the board or you're not serving the board. Let's move on.
Are you denying a public official access to public documents?
You can have anything you want.
He's been asking them, you're denying him.
Contact the mayor
Uh,
and go find what you need.
Are we taking the vote or what?
Hey, one
Yeah, we
thing,
would if we quit
one
getting
thing I wanted to
interrupted.
add about this from what I could
That's
see
on
on
the
the
agenda.
numbers.
Maybe you ought to file charges against you again for
she said
denying
that,
an official.
She said that, her range was like between 5 and 6 a year. I believe that's what she said. And then from what I had received, looking at salaries and, I mentioned this at the last meeting. It's approximately, right now, our current treasurer's costing us about $5,000, and that's including Brit, because we paid $95 a month for our statements that come around the table. Overall, it's gonna be costing us a little better than $1,000 more a year to go with this system. But we've had the position open for several months now and haven't had any inquiries. So keep that in consideration as we decide to vote.
Have we circled it around in the Prairie Post or Daily Republican or anything that we needed somebody?
I haven't personally done
Well, I
that.
mean, it has been
And
a
we
whole
don't have a
board.
clerk, and
Right.
we just really haven't had the resources.
Well,
And
yeah.
I wondered about that too, because when I was uptown, I saw another,
I know Christina has called several people.
and I do know she had 1 or 2 applicants, but once we checked on them, it wasn't someone who wanted to work with our monies.
Well, how do I know? I didn't get to see it.
I didn't see it either, I was just told that, so I don't know.
I don't judge a book by
She's
its
our
cover.
employee, not ours,
Yeah.
so, but I did see, like, in another accountant's name uptown, so if you guys wanna try to look, I think this is a good deal, but are we prepared to take a vote? I guess we'll.
You need a motion for this?
You'll need a first and a second, and then we'll
We
do
would
our
like to
yays
make
and
a
nays.
motion.
To vote?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to vote.
I'll second it.
Okay, John?
Nay, and I'll explain why. It don't have nothing to do with the ladies or their counting a firm.
Sure.
They sound great. They sound awesome. But I'd like to see the paperwork and the figures ahead of me so I can see what we're doing ahead of time before I make a vote. That's just common business sense where I have to look over it and not just come here to make a vote right after I hear it.
So would you
So-
like us to table this? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, I would like to.
They got the
Right
figure.
here's the figures.
Yeah, but I'd like to have more time to look over it than just tonight. That way I can figure everything up, and if I need to do some research, look at it, stuff like that. So, mine is no.
Martha?
Yay.
I'm sorry.
Yay.
And then me, I'm a yay. I think it's a good program. I think we can handle it. If we wanna give, John the courtesy to table it, do you all wanna do that? So we can review it more, even though we had our numbers last meeting.
Can I have a copy of the last meeting so I can look over it before we got to the
I don't
night?
think the minutes are out yet.
Well, do you have copies of the information she gave you and emailed you?
I
Couldn't-
did
couldn't
not
make-
receive her email. I think I made that clear.
Well, you had a paper last time with all the information on
I
it.
just have some scribbles that I had take notes on. Would
Okay.
you like a copy of my notes?
No, thanks, that's all right.
I guess the status of the current treasurer. We'll keep
Wait a
it
minute, wait a
until
minute,
it's
hang on.
done.
No, we haven't.
You're voting and we haven't finished, or,
Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
first I wanna understand
You're right.
that we voted to pass it, however, Jonathan wants to table it, so I guess we need.
No, I voted no.
He voted nay.
But it did pass, because there's enough of us that voted yes. But what I'm saying now is the courtesy to table it, and that's what I'm asking for a vote, if anyone wants to vote on tabling it or passing this. You just wanna pass it and be done, or do you wanna give a courtesy to Jonathan and table it?
how do you answer that?
Personally, I don't think we
We've
have any
all
time to
voted,
really
so-
table anything.
Okay,
Christina's ready to be done. She's got a job,
all right,
that's my opinion.
And no hard feelings on anybody's opinion.
No, I know, but I mean,
Yeah, I
And
understand.
I respect your, wanting to table it, and I respect Christina wanting to be done, so.
Yes, I understand that. I respect that also.
okay. And so I'm writing down here that it was passed, and you're asking about the status of the current treasurer. The process is that we would have to accept her resignation. I don't think we're prepared to do that at this time, because we still need her next month to help us get this information through. I think we need to leave her just where she is, her regular salary that she does now.
to get her to work with these,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's all fair.
and, if it gets to be too heavy a load, too much, we can say, hey, we need to make some different plans here.
Yeah.
She just said that. And,
Absolutely.
but we gotta do something, we gotta have somebody
Okay.
to do it.
So I'm gonna say that we,
Keep her on until she is done helping them
Yes,
okay, I understand.
and finishes what she needs to finish to.
Okay. We are keeping treasurer on till crossover is complete. And I think that probably be within a month, but,
Yep.
okay.
Now, from this month forward, I'm reluctant to vote on anything. And the reason is, cause I'm not gonna be here. I'm just reluctant to do it, cause I don't wanna tie you guys up to something that I voted on. I said yes. So I'm gonna be very reluctant, very reserved about bidding.
Also,
Very honorable.
while we're talking about Christina,
Very
there are
honorable.
some
Thank you.
things that the accounting people are not gonna be able to help us out with. Until we can find someone to do that, I would like to, see if Christina would do that for us at an hourly rate.
Hourly rate,
Until we can find someone within a month, hopefully. It's the audits for Sander, environmental and stuff like that,
Yes.
the paperwork that's gotta be sent in until someone can be taught how to do that.
Are we done with that?
well, Stacy, what are you proposing there, that we change how we currently employ her, or?
Either we, she works what, her salary, and then, if we could do an
So
hourly,
anything above 30 hours, you wanna pay her hourly, is that what you're
an
saying?
hourly rate until, she's got the Sander, she's got Ameren to deal with.
And
Okay,
can I say something there?
we would need to go into closed session to discuss an hourly rate.
I am a little bit reluctant to agree with that.
Okay,
Because I know and you know that Christina has spent untold hours on her own, used her stuff, her equipment stuff, and she would be more likely to help these girls, which Christina ain't gonna, she's not gonna say no. She's gonna do whatever it takes. But just pay her a rate, I mean, for a month or, how much?
Pay her month, we'd have to go into closed session to discuss.
But I mean, how much,
She's got her regular duties coming on in March anyway, and then she's gonna be doing additional hours with the firm. When I had discussed them with that, they couldn't tell me a definite time for the crossover, you know, cause I said, is it 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours?
no,
And they weren't certain, they knew they would not be able to sit down 8 hours in one day and do the job, that it would
Because
take,
of her job.
yeah,
Mhm.
it would take multiple days, and hour here, hour there, and
Yeah.
so forth.
yeah,
So,
you're not talking about much money. I mean,
yeah,
you're talking about $6,000 or $8,000, yeah, we'd have to really, but,
I mean, I know the month after, she's gonna have all the other stuff that these people aren't gonna be dealing with for us.
so are you proposing that once she resigns, we accept her resignation as, treasurer, then that we ask her to stay on at an hourly rate as an employee till we can get everything cleaned up?
Would it be considered as an employee or still as the treasurer until we can get all of the, I know
I think it'd be considered an employee, I'll have to look it up.
we've got a monthly report, the quarterly report for Ameren, we got the FOIA request, yearly payroll audits,
Yeah, and she's getting ready to resubmit
water deposit, water
audit.
refunds.
it just looks to me like it would, don't muddy up the water. We're just gonna pay you 2 hours today and 2 hours Friday and just
Yeah.
pay her. I mean, you want it done right.
So even though we're hiring a firm to take over the treasurer position, if her treasurer position goes past their start date, she is still gonna be paid at her treasury rate. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's a good idea.
I mean, she hasn't really been an enemy of this board. I mean, my gosh. Want it done right, man. I just,
Well, until we accept her resignation, we can continue to pay her as we have.
and they just said they was gonna take off 1st of March.
They were gonna start, if we accept them, yeah. Yeah, they would start, it will take them every bit of the month to start building accounts. The water system's
You
gonna-
said if we accept their,
we have accepted them, but, you know, like, that's what they said, if we accept them, they would be able to start on it in March. They wouldn't be officially doing our work until April, cause we'd be still building. You see what I'm saying?
no, I
Building
don't
them.
understand. I think they'd be officially going ahead and doing it with
No,
Christina's.
because they won't get the water bills until the end of the month.
I know.
Yeah, they,
So then she would have to go up there and show them how to do all the water bills and where the money
That's what I'm
would
saying.
go into the different accounts.
April 1st is when they would actually start from ground one doing all our work. And we'd hope between now and April
Whatever it
1st that,
takes, I don't
Well,
know.
they're gonna start on March, right?
I thought they were gonna start in March.
Yeah.
right, they'll
QuickBooks.
start on March,
With
but you see what I'm
QuickBooks,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
We'd still have to have,
And she'd have to help with those QuickBooks still, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, March.
And then she would probably have to stay on until April to do all the other stuff.
Correct.
That was,
So you're talking about a couple months.
Yeah,
I think
March,
probably.
April.
maybe in
Maybe
that
May,
April
who knows?
meeting, in the middle of April, that second week of April, we
Well,
can actually
Walter
accept the
will
resignation.
they'll hit the ground running, cause they got that stuff in line already.
see, and that'd be a big load off of whoever we would decide to do whatever next, so.
I just want it done right. I don't want anybody, of course, I won't be here, but you don't want anybody coming up here with and you gotta answer with a red face, well, I don't know, I wish you'd kept her on, and for just a few bucks,
There
it
you
might
go.
avoid a big problem, you know what I'm saying?
Not about, I'm about
I agree with it.
done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So what's next?
I think we've made all of the
I
decisions for
believe the
this
meeting
evening.
is adjourned.
I motion to dismiss. I first that one.
I got a question before you do that.
Oh, okay.
Who does this couch and chair out here belong to?
That's not on the agenda this evening.
Well, I'll tell you what,
I have to wait till it's a regular meeting to talk about that. The public can
Unless
talk
the
about
public
anything they
wants to
want,
ask
but
whose
for-
couch and chair that is out there.
this is not a city street. It's a county road. An illegal dump site.
There's 10 cars are sitting on the side of the road down there beside the fire department.
Now, that's a city street.
Okay,
Mhm.
I gave a first to dismiss.
I'll second.
Meeting adjourned.
John, can I have that paper back?
Do what?
Can I have that paper back?
I
And
thought it
let's
was
try
given
again.
to me for information.
No, the
No.
list.
I'd like copies before I leave then, there's a copy machine in
I
the
can see
back.
if I can try. I don't know if I know how to work it, but I'll try.
Thank you.
Is it unlocked?
Oh, well.
Can you help me to get in this